I really feel like I have nothing to contribute sometimes. What do you do when you feel like you have nothing to contribute? What do you do when you feel like you have nothing to contribute? Like, is my existence not inherently valuable on its own? That feels like a lie. Doesn't feel true. I don't believe it to be true, but definitely challenging to transcend that feeling, especially when you don't feel like doing anything. Because it's like, why, like, am I just gonna do shit until I'm fucking depleted? Until I die and I leave this body, and then I can be free? It's really, really easy to fall into that victim mentality, man. To feel like the victim of life. When I believe that the challenge in incarnating as a human being is to transcend that victim mentality and to see oneself as the creator of the circumstance. There are a lot of terrible things that happen in this world on a daily basis. And because of that, I feel we walk around in a state of psychosis. We want to go about our lives in a normal manner. We want to be able to work hard, earn a good living, feed our families, come home to a house or a shelter of some kind. Ideally with modern amenities for many of us. We just and it's so evident to see with everything happening in the world that this cannot go on like it's going. I don't know how much everyone is aware. I know many people are aware of this awakening that's happening, this spiritual awakening, and this ending of old energy, old paradigms, separation, duality, division, the hoarding of resources, as a result of a deep belief that there's just not enough. And I believe that, in my own personal life, I feel like I'm seeing that all kind of play out for myself as well. Like, the thing that really I need to address, it's really, I've been questioning this for a long time. It's been a lifelong kind of journey coming to new understandings and evolving relationship with abundance and money and the world around me. I mean, the people in my life as well. I'm seeing things come to an end. Someone who's very near and dear to my heart recently, we went different directions. They got a new phone number. They are moving forward with their life, and that's, I'm happy for them. Just really feeling like this being 2025, being a 9-year signifying end of cycles, completion, among other things, spiritual wisdom. So much that I'm trying to understand, and the more I begin to understand, the more I realize how little I do understand. It's wild. It's wild to think about, like, how much we just don't know. And the hubris to think that we do. There's a scarcity of embodied wisdom is probably the greatest scarcity at this time. But even that is an illusion. Because wisdom is realized through experience. And one cannot embody wisdom and be a wise man until they have been a fool, which I certainly have been. I came into this life just blissfully ignorant of the reality of the world. You know, my parents really sheltered me when I was growing up from the realities of the world. And when I turned 18 or 17 and started, entered the working world, it was a huge shock to me, complete shock to my system that like it's really just every man for himself. And it's crazy. It's unnatural. We're meant to work together. We're meant to share resources. We're meant to lift one another up. And that's happening. People are realizing that now. As much as you look around and you might turn on the news or go onto social media and see the most terrible, the worst of humanity, at the same time, there is so much good. So many people waking up from the unconscious dream. And it is a process. It's a process. I mean, when I first discovered that the world wasn't, all roses and sunshine, it was shocking to my system. For a few years, I went down a rabbit hole of fear, of existential dread, of nihilism, and just seeing the worst and believing that the worst of people is what I could what I it was my expectation that people are bad was for a while how I felt. And coming into, I intellectually, I've listened to enough spiritual information to understand intellectually that all are one. I don't even know what I don't know about that. I mean, the idea that there is no other, that the other is self, just goes to show how far into this illusion we've gone. If, if it is in fact an illusion of separation, which, who am I to say it's not? Just because I don't always experience it that way on a day-to-day basis doesn't mean that I'm not, that I haven't been deceived. And to even say that, to say that I have been deceived, it gives away responsibility. It takes away power from myself, because if in fact there is no other, then who is the one that deceived? And who's the one being deceived? It's the self, which I am. The truth is stranger than fiction. And a lot of fiction contains truth. That's for sure. Yeah. I guess I'm just rambling, it's a Tuesday afternoon. DoorDash isn't busy right now, so I can't do that. So I figured do some laundry and, I don't know, maybe record a video. Not like I expect anybody to watch it or to, if anybody could watch this and get anything from it, or something that might be helpful. I don't mean to come on here, and I hope I don't sound like I'm complaining, because I'm really just trying to figure it out. Life. It's very easy to get confused, especially when so much of my energy I contribute to pursuing survival. All the hours that I spend in my car just driving around for a couple of dollars, just enough to get through the day, which is fine. It's fine. There's a reason I've chosen to go the path of making maybe less money, but enabling myself to be as free as I can be, or that I believe I can be. I'm very aware of my self-imposed limitations. Just aware of how limiting this box that I have created for myself of who I believe myself to be, what I believe myself to be, what I know myself to be capable of. I have this really good friend. His name's George. Shout out, George. We have some really, really deep, thought-provoking conversations. I can always count on him to be able to go there with me, It's awesome to have a friend like that where no conversation, no topic is off limits, and you can really get into great depth on certain topics. But uh, that being the nature of our relationship, we have a lot of thought-provoking conversations. Um, typically shaped around the theme of where are we at and where can we go from here? Like what are we? We talk about manifestation a lot. We talk about Neville Goddard, um, the idea of feeling it into existence. You know, believing that the imagination of man is God, is our God faculty, and that by utilizing our imagination in its full expression, that we have the power to shift reality simply by changing our frequency, which I believe to be true, because I know that to be true on levels. I I was let's say this publicly on YouTube. Yeah, I was a drug addict and an alcoholic and a lost soul throughout my 20s. And the reason I bring that up, it's not to dwell on it, or I really don't even like I don't like expressing that story anymore because it's not who I identify myself to be anymore. But the reason I bring it up is to give context to support my understanding and how I personally know that your frequency is everything. It's everything. I mean, going from a frequency of lacking self-love, lacking self-worth, um, to one of loving oneself and to knowing one's worth, it changes the foundation of your reality. Your relationships change. The way that people talk to you changes. The kind of people that talk to you changes. I mean, just think about it. Like, if you're not taking care of yourself and you don't have any intention of changing or taking care of yourself in the future, why would anybody who is taking care of themselves want to be in your frequency? And I know that's a harsh thing to hear, especially if you're in that frequency, which is generally accompanied with a victim mentality that the world is happening to you, that things are happening to you, um, then that's what you're going to experience. The universe responds to your frequency. The universe responds to my frequency. And everything that I'm expressing here, this human frustration of feeling very I guess what I'm feeling is scattered, confused, a lack of clarity on what it is that I suppose that I want, and how what I want translates to the physical reality of life. Because I know that I want to be free. I want to And then when I say something like, I want to be free, I'm reminded that the universe is listening. And if the statement, I want to be free, is a direct vibrational match with its vibrational match in expression. Am I receiving exactly what I'm asking for by saying I want to be free? I've been saying I want to be free for years. And it's always true. It's been true. I continue to want to be free. How do I shift I want to be free to I am free? I know myself as a sovereign being. To ground that statement, the vibration of that statement into reality, and to believe it. I suppose I know that I am free and that I am sovereign. I chose this experience. I chose this vessel. I chose these life circumstances to gain the wisdom that comes from experiencing them. You know, I listen to a lot of channeled information. One channel comes to mind here as I talk about this. Paul Selig channels, I believe he calls them the guides. I think that they have identified themselves as Melchizedek once or multiple times. I don't know. I believe I heard Melchizedek was the vibration, the being that they channel. I don't know. To be honest, I try not to think about the details too much about channeling, because if all is one, then all of those beings, yes, they may have different names. They're us. They're me. They're I. They're the self. If all is self, we're just channeling ourselves from outside of this time. But Paul Selig, in his messages, the essence, I suppose, of his work is he has the I Am Word series, where he describes these claims of truth that when we say them, we are essentially allowing the monad or the divine blueprint or the Christ self, the self that is born in the image of God, which is love embodied. You know, these claims of I am word through my body, I am word through my vibration, I am word through my knowing of myself as word. It doesn't really make a whole lot of logical sense, but the concept is when you say these claims, you know, behold, I make all things new, I have come, I have come, I have come. You are allowing the monad, the Christ self, to claim all aspects of self in a higher resonance, in the upper room of vibration, vibrational accord. It's wild, man. It's wild, you know. It's wild to try to wrap your head around all that. You know, and I feel like I try my best, and I also know that I'm right where I should be. You're always right where you're supposed to be. Always. And that's a hard thing to accept sometimes, because if you're in an unsatisfactory place and you feel poor, you know, to believe that a loving God would do that to you, to put you, allow you to be in that vibrational place, that dissatisfactory place. Like, it lacks the understanding of what that God is and how that God works. God gives us exactly what we ask for. We're just not always aware and clear of exactly what we are asking for. Just like I said before, when I say I want to be free, well, if I am the creator, which every day, that feels more and more true, especially when I'm able to take a step back and see things from the higher perspective, which is so crucial because it's so easy to get into, the small self and the worries and the fears and the doubts that cloud the mind, and create an experience of confusion, feeling, drained every day. It's so important to limit these distractions, to be conscious and intentional with your time and your energy. Well, I mean, I'll speak for myself. It is imperative for myself to be conscious and intentional with where I am focusing my energy. I mean, I could go into depth and detail on everything, and maybe in time I will. This is like my third video ever. I'm not actually even sure which YouTube page I'm going to post it from. I just got a new phone, and I don't remember my old email that my other YouTube was tied to, so I may have to just post this on the one that I watch all my YouTube on, which I suppose would be fine. But yeah, we're moving in the right direction. I think that a lot of people say this could be a crazy year, and I think it could be. The thing with the guy and I'm not even going to say it. That's not what this page is about. I'm not going to talk about these massively polarized events that are transpiring in this country. Perhaps you can deduce what I'm referring to, but there's something coming up in a few days where a lot of people aren't going to be happy about it. But yeah, I'm going to leave that alone. I'm just going to send love to, and I would encourage all of us to send love to those we don't agree with. Try to be willing to see how the other sees. Because I think that we get so laser focused in on what I get so laser, it's easy to get laser focused on what I believe and why I believe it. And now I can double down. Got into an argument with my sister-in-law at Thanksgiving, and as it's happening, I'm like, why am I doing this? I know that I don't know everything. But, I know that if we can be willing to try to see things how the other sees them, then we're a little bit closer to seeing the world how the Creator sees the world. Just a little bit closer, because I don't know everything. I don't know what I don't know. And that's always going to be true until I know. And I think that saying I don't know is such a beautiful and a powerful thing because it's true. If I don't know, the worst thing that I can do is pretend like I know. Because then I'm speaking out of truth. I'm weakening my words. I'm weakening my being. So, disconnect from the narratives. Try to look at people with more compassion. Understand that they're you from a different perspective. From looking at life through a different lens, because they've had different experiences that have led them to come to a set of beliefs just like you have. We're not as different as the media or any institution or person would try to portray, that any one person or group of people is inferior or superior to another. We need to stop this line of thinking because it's not based in truth. The truth is oneness. This is a shared reality. We share this space. We share this planet. We share the air. We share water. We share resources. We share love. We share everything, And we are realizing that through all of this craziness that's happening in the world, slowly but surely, you can trust that people are waking up to, people are waking up to the reality that there is so much more than what we have been told. There's so much more available for us to experience as humanity once we drop the fears, the beliefs that create a barrier between us and experiencing reality as it is, which I'm not a Christian, but the one they call Christ, I believe to be the single most misunderstood and misconstrued being who's ever incarnated on this planet. And that's okay. I also believe that it is appropriate for all and any to find God, to look for God in any way. The search for God is always appropriate. No matter what it looks like, no matter what you call the God, it is always appropriate, and God is always there for those who seek. God is always here. God is always where you are. Hmm. 34 minutes. Holy cow. Oh my God. How did that even happen? Wow. Well, if you've stuck around this long, you're a real one. I don't have Instagram or really any social media, so if you want to, I don't know, if you got anything to say, you disagree with me, you agree, or you want to have a discussion, drop into the comment section. If you want to I don't post often. I mean, this is my third ever video. This will be the first one that I'm posting of me just talking to a camera like this on this channel. So, feel free to do those things. There's no impetus to do anything that you're not guided to do. So, yeah, much love. Be the light. I just want to make one last statement of truth. That is, I am the light, I am the love, and I am the truth. I am. Peace.